Hey there, it's me Liberal here, and welcome to, it'll probably only be a little video today. I know I say that a few times and sometimes it ends up overrunning. I'm not saying this one's not going to overrun as well, but my idea is to show you, basically make an announcement, and you could say, show you why I'm saying this. I think I found a Lunaris replacement. I think I found an LLM even better than Lunaris. And I think I found an LLM that actually understands my complex characters and gets most of it right. It doesn't make a lot of mistakes and it can change its acting, you could say, accordingly. That LLM is now living in this Gwen actor folder, which I'm going to be honest will need renamed because I've kicked Gwen completely out of it. It's in here and I have to say I've given it a run and it's a little gem at doing some of this stuff. It's also a little bit of a dreamboat as well because it's more bits perimeter than I ever thought I could run on this computer. I'm amazed I'm able to run this on this computer. I was like, why have they offered me that when they're like, how on earth is that going to be able to run? Well, with quite a low context, although not as low as Lunaris, I've actually got a bit more context than Lunaris. Yeah, you probably can hear most of this is pros. And I would say there's only few cons with this model. But I'm convinced it's because of the way I've got it set up. I have had to sort of take a guess how to set it up. Why? Because, well, as you know, I'm using an older version of Silly Tavern. But this is a very new model. In fact, it's newer than I thought. Because I didn't pay full attention to the numbers. I don't often do that. And I now realise I've got myself a very, very new model. It's in here. Gemma 4. Gemma 4, 26 billion perimeter, which knocks 8 billion perimeter out the park. Uncensored heretic model, meaning it should not refuse maybe the slightly flashier scenes in my place, and maybe the Prevana scenes. It is actually very similar to the text encoder I use on LTX2, but it's Gemma 3. This is Gemma 4. And as far as I know, Gemma 4 is still very new. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Gemma 4 is still very, very new. And now I'm going to run it in an older setup that I've accommodated for it, and it's worked pretty well through it. I'm not going to lie. These ThinkBats really will need updated at some point. I'm not absolutely completely sure how I'm going to update those. So for now, I take the setting file that I've made, I drag it to Cobalt KPP, and that loads Gemma the way I want her. Here we go. Now, she will take a bit of time to load. She's a big LM. So here we go. She doesn't load as fast as Lunaris. I would not expect her to. But I'm amazed she's able to load at all. Obviously, if you upset this balance in any way possible, yeah, it does say out of memory for a couple of things. You probably notice on that console, but she does load. And I did a test there where I was testing how quick she responds. Her response time is pretty quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just give you a little demo by saying, I'm fine, thank you, to this little conversation we're having in. You'll see how quick she responds. She's pretty quick. Look at that. Look at that. And that's an amazing pace. Now, she doesn't run quite that fast through Silly Tavern, but she runs fast enough. Absolutely. I'm glad to hear that. If there's anything something else to see today, whether it's a question or a task or just someone to chat with, I'm here to help. And I'll tell you something, I think chatting with Gemma is going to be a bit more pleasantry than chatting with Lunaris. I haven't actually tried chatting with Gemma yet, but I do talk with her plenty on anti-gravity. Although that's Gemma, Flash, but, you know, similar model, it's the same family. Okay, so this is why I know I get on quite well with the Gemma models. But, you know, I was obviously interested to think, is Gemma a good role player? I think for the things I do, she is. Let's hop into the Mystic Tavern and I'll show you some things that impressed me about Gemma. First of all, the portrayal of certain characters. Gemma does not focus on one trait and let it overrule them like, this was a big weakness with Gwen. Gwen, when playing Bambi Lake, this isn't a Gwen play by the way, and this was actually done with, I think it was LM Studio? Yeah, that's LM Studio Lunaris. I mean, obviously I've been using Lunaris up till now. And then I did a Gemma run here. You can see it says Gemma there. So there's a little bit of Gemma's text. And the thing that really impressed me the most was this flipping wording. Llama just wouldn't do it. It doesn't matter how many times I put it into the instructions. It doesn't matter where I put it in the instructions. It just would not do it. All it would say is takes another large bite of the rump. That's what Llama would write, and that's wrong. Realmians do not eat with their arms, and it's strictly told in the law they never touch their food. Gemma has said it exactly as I would say it. A large slice of deer rump and eats it carefully. So he says and eats it carefully. That could be if they fork it up or whatever. And that's fine. That sounds like, you know, you could imagine him eating the cutlery, I think, to that description. That sounds like a cutlery description. Some might say the end maybe is a tiny bit off, but not as off as Llama. Not as off as it at all. Now, Gemma is extremely good at keeping the plot of something once it starts to establish the story. Gemma 4 sticks with it like an arrow. I'm going to not lie. And I've never seen this before except from full precision models in the past. And the one I saw it with was one called Stefano. Stefano. Full precision, which took ages to run on this computer. But I used to run it for big role plays because of how good it was. Now Gemma can do it. And I'm not lying, Gemma definitely can do it. Because I'm just going to find the group. There's a group here, Pastoral. I've been searching forever for Lunaris replacement because it was one of those things that I liked Lunaris, but it really wound me up too much. I'm going to have to be honest. It would have days where it would hardly load. As you saw, when we wrote Lunaris, sometimes Lunaris just doesn't want to play. Lunaris is just like, oh yeah, I forgot that fact, sorry. I'm almost like, did you deliberately forget it? Because you're a very stubborn model. I mean, I don't know if that's possible for AI to do that. But Gemma, every time I played with her, she's just been great. I could just load her up. She feels reliable. I can load her up in the LM thing, just go into a role play, start playing the scenario, and she understands it. And she often gets little details correct that Lunaris used to get wrong. I'd say she still struggles a little bit with genders, but not as much as Lunaris. So I'm just looking for. Can you see a play called Pastoral? I went past it loads and loads of times. Right, okay. This was really suspenseful and impressive last night. I'm going to have to scroll back up quite a bit here. for you to get what I'm wanting to show you here. Some really funny stuff happened during this as well. It was a fun play. Okay. This was a really suspenseful moment, and I deliberately threw things in to try and throw Gemma off it. She wasn't having it. I'll just let you know. She came back to this plot. She remembered where each of these Bambis were. Extremely impressive. Almost like we were in a scene. She remembered where they were. She remembered what they were doing. So you can see that Pastoral Lake is just watching. Now she does have quite a few times where she writes things with no speech. But parts of the Mystic Realm stories I like that. They're quite descriptive. So, basically what's happened here is that this magical Bambi has pulled a surprise out on Bambi 1. Well, on all the Bambis. She's playing hide and seek with the others, and she's suddenly switched off all her lights, including her fibre optic eyes. And Bambi himself didn't know his sister could do that. He didn't know there was a way she could do that. And he's now worried about her. He thinks, oh my gosh, she fell unconscious or something, because when she's asleep her lights go out. Is she unconscious? Is she her? So he's looking up, Uncle Bambi finds out about the spell that she used to switch off her thing. It's called Suspentus Lunaris. Basically means suspend light. So she basically suspends her light and switches them off for a bit. It's almost like she suspends her light patterns. You will notice little blips, I don't mind these, where it said hands instead of hooves. I used to get these all the time on Llama. You're not going to get many LLMs that can keep to an animal perfectly. But I just ignore that. That's a little blip. That doesn't matter. Doesn't ruin the roleplay in the slightest. There's watching behind the rock. So here, so I want to concentrate on here is Inferalis. Inferalis here is now getting himself right into the centre of the picture. Everyone's watching Inferalis because he's about to uncover Tranquil Bambi. However, Tranquil Bambi's planning something. And I want to emphasise this right now. This whole storyline is Gemma's. I want you to understand that. Because I'm playing Pastoral. No, I'm not playing Pastoral. Well, I play Pastoral there. Oh yeah, because I've obviously got the feature where I can seize control of the rock. I'm playing Farm Bambi. But I do play a few others as well. The Bambis are the bots. I'll just show you which bots they are in here. Pretty the cat, she comes in a bit later. She comes in to watch what's going on. Tribal Laura, Tranquil Bambi, Bambi Lake, Inferalis and Pastoral Lake are all bots. And this plot, the thing I mainly did is I threw a little, you could say, wrench into the works. That's what I basically did. I wrote, I will take credit for this a little bit. That you could say maybe started the whole plot off, but in the end, the rest of it was Gemma's work. She worked off it. There, I did this bit. That's what I wrote. I wrote, she mutters a spell, Suspentus Illuminis, instantly my fibre optic lights switch off. After that, Gemma started to build this plot that Tranquil Bambi was preparing for some sort of surprise. Preparing to actually scare Inferalis a little bit. And it starts getting very suspenseful. So, Gemma's obviously using some story writing abilities here. Not just role playing, but a bit of story writing as well. To create the suspenseful scene. That is a marvellous line from Gemma. I've never seen that from Lunaris. I am very quiet now. I am a shadow. I am nothing. I see you. I see you. I see you, I see you. It did write I see you twice, but like I said, it's just a little glitch. I'm not actually perfectly sure if I'm running Gemma 4 on the right settings. I haven't actually got the proper context template or the proper instruct template. I want you to know I've made these on the fly. But it may not be quite right. But I've managed to get it to get rid of them annoying arrows that kept coming up. Basically, I made an instruct mode and I pretty much blanked all the separators. Because I found out Gemma doesn't use any of those. Gemma 4. Don't know if Gemma, I mean Gemma 4 and Gemma 2 must be a bit different because Gemma 2's template didn't work. But I was well impressed with that. Even though it's just a little line, it was just the way it's written. I thought to myself, I've never seen that from Lunaris, ever. It's just like, it's so like sinister. Like she's totally dead, but she's like dormant, just waiting to pounce. That's when it starts being. You can see that the other deer start getting a bit. Like, look at that! She's her eyes full of. Oh, she's used magic. And this is what I quite like: is that every time I go to Infavalis, he's right there in front of the bush. Bambi to his bush, his fingers just eats away from the leaves. Now, I'll let you know, when Lunaris establishes a plot like this, it's easy to ruin it. All you have to do to ruin the plot, and it will never go back to it, is throw someone else in the scene. Someone else can even just so much as pass by, say hello to, say, Pastoral Lake, or one of the Bambis. Yeah. Say hello to Pastoral Lake, one of the Bambis. So I went to a self-reply mode I sometimes have. Forgive that. I'm a bit like an AI myself. I'm slightly wonky. But mine's autistic intelligence. Yeah, so back to what I was saying. So, Pastoral Lake is basically watching the scene unfold with calm. Yeah, so basically all you have to do is throw someone in. They have to come in, they have to just talk. Maybe even just say hello, literally, to someone like Pastoral Lake, Infrahouse, Tribal Aura, whichever ones. And that's it. The conversation will go out of control. The main plot of the story is gone. You've lost it. It doesn't go back. It then focuses on that. And then quite often it ends up changing the subject altogether to, oh my goodness, let's have a feast. Gemma is a hard nut to crack when it comes to trying to throw her off the plot. And I didn't do it. And I'm impressed with that. Very impressed with that. I'm throwing in all sorts of things here. I'm taking controls of bots and making them do slightly different things. He's Googling stuff on his device now. He's trying to find out if it's specific thing. I'm giving all this information. I'm putting like this entire like paragraph into Gemma to see if basically she reacts to it. I'm waiting for him to touch me. And then Gemma reveals the plot. I am waiting for him to touch me. If he touches me, I will jump out and scare him. I have my rainbow magic ready to go. So at this point, Gemma has revealed to me what she's planning with Tranquil Bambi. And she goddamn sticks to it. That's all I'm going to say. I start to throw some obstacles in just to see what she'll do. Yeah, she's never seen me use magic like that before. Half of my chest. I'm worried about Bambi too. I've never seen her do that before. I'm working on my device, hoping for some answers. So it's acknowledging the device bit that I put further up. Maybe quite lightly. But that's one thing about Gemma. She acknowledges things quite lightly. Maybe not as heavy as Lunaris. So some might think she doesn't react quite as dramatically as Lunaris. But in most situations, that's okay. There, here we are. This is me throwing a big spanner in the works here. Partial has seen a blue splint lying on the ground. Triangle must have left. That's a completely new character. And that's him. That name there. Triangle must have left it behind. I go over pick it up whilst watching the Bambis with interest and love. I wrote that paragraph. So basically, well, you can see she's gone red there. I've took control of Pastoral using... if you didn't see how Mystic Tavern works, I'll show you how easy it is. Seize control of anyone using this menu. Just in case you're new to Mystic Tavern. Okay, so my eyes following the blue splint on the ground. And so I go pick it up. So I was hoping Gemma would notice that. And look at this. Even with me doing that to Pastoral, while Pastoral's doing that, immediately Inferalis has came back into the scene. He is back at the bush. It hasn't accidentally brought Inferalis over to Pastoral Lake. It hasn't accidentally had Inferalis inspecting the splint, which I've seen all these glitches with Lunaris in the past. And that's Lunaris Quant 8, which is a pretty high quant. And this is Gemma Quant 6. She's an intelligent girl. Let's see what's in there. So he's wondering what Tranquil Bambi is in there. Obviously you can see her because she's turned all her lights out. The only little glitch she had a couple of times is that Gemma did keep making Tranquil Bambi turn her lights back on. And I was like, no, she keeps them off. She'll keep them off if she's hiding. So I had to go and do little modifications to Gemma's narration just to turn the lights back on for them. But I think in the end I just got to switch them back on. Retreat back to my thicket and text Kiera. So I'm trying to really throw Gemma off here by having Pastoral doing a totally different thing here. And I've even got Pastoral speaking once as persona and once as bot. So it's found one of Triangle splints. Could you come pick it up? Thanks from Pastoral. I am sitting in my thicket, watching my phone's bright and sort of promoting if I feel peace in this glade. I've noticed that Gemma has to write very general things for Pastoral. Just sort of like her feelings. She doesn't actually talk that much. I think she only talks if the Bambi's a thing. But she is respecting one of my rules there. And that is Realmians will often watch each other without interacting. And this is yet another rule Lunaris could not get. Yeah, I'm watching Inferalis. So see, immediately taking it back to the Inferalis plot. Then I throw a real spanner in the works. I throw Kiera, a completely different character that hasn't been in the story, into the story. And Kiera Marian thing. Now, I was a tiny little grammar mistake where I said, oh, Kiera, you found it. Actually, Pastoral found it, not Kiera. So, it's a little late to change this, but I'm just going to change that tiny little word glitch. Tiny compared to some of the stuff I've had to deal with before. Yeah, it's limping at the moment. I'll keep it safe for them. I think she's I think I did get a tiny bit confused when she said you never know with my lot. Maybe because Kiera did say that a bit sort of randomly. Let's move forward off. I mean, my writing's not perfect. I'm probably not quite writing it right. So I will just change that to him. You will notice just little words maybe get dropped every now and again. But I did actually change Gemma's settings several times today. And I'm starting to wonder if even this fault has now gone away. Because it's quite easily fixed if you tweak the samplers. partial. I think I got very well. Do you know how to put them on him? I think I will try my best. I know how to assume my presence and my gentle words. Okay. How you do, lass? You're pretty much a top woman, Tranquilla, just like I'm a loving very ass. Let's keep there. So what I deliberately did here, you'll notice, I have broke the play up. I have deliberately stopped us generating any of Bambi's replies. I've deliberately made this only partial and clearer for this whole scene. I am breaking the play up. Don't know if you understand what I'm doing here. I'm breaking the scene. I'm making the gap longer. So I'm seeing if Gemma will latch back onto what she was doing once I give her freedom again. So she trots off to get Triangle. That's the end of that scene. Now what happens? And there you are. Tranquil Bambi is right where she was. She has not moved. She has not accidentally taken over to Triangle. She has not accidentally came out of her thing because she's got bored of hiding. That's another thing as well. Gemma can actually play hide and seek. Lunaris never could. You probably seen in several of my players with Lunaris when we're playing hide and seek. They just keep popping out and giving each other away. And I'm like, no, Realmians play this properly. So. Now I don't know, and I will be fair, and I'm going to say this at once. I've only ever tried two variants of Lunaris, and that's the two that would actually run this computer. With struggle, I did try the 12-bit variant, and merely the 8-bit variant. I don't know if the higher variants of Lunaris are any better. I can't answer that. I don't have the hardware to run them. But I'm amazed I am able to get any model of this size running on here. Gemma must have a completely different architecture to the armour. Yeah. So you can see it says, oh okay here, so trust of I'm glad she's taking Triangle, but I'm also glad to be here in a peaceful great my bonds. So she goes back into like her thoughts again. And then what I really like, he's incredibly close. Now, Gemma hasn't just remembered the plot, she's advancing it. Now, to be fair, she spreads this way out. I'm not gonna lie, some are probably thinking, oh my god, Gemma, could you just have him go into the bush already? But no, Gemma spreads this as far as it will go. She spreads it like fine as butter. She really does. This is like, this goes on for a while. I'll let you know in this play. And last night, I know this is going to sound absolutely ridiculous. I actually didn't get as much sleep last night because I was waiting to see what happened. Okay, so yeah, are you in there, little shadow? It just seems to. I don't know who knew which Bambi it was, or maybe so. It was her, but wondering how she turned the light out. The scene behind the trees and the dark bushy breathless. She's not seen magic used like this before, and it has her completely mesmerised. I love Gemma's wording as well. It's really good. It's as good as Lunaris's. Now, one thing Lunaris was a pro at was wording. Lunaris was a very good worder for scenes. It would use some great words sometimes for setting up scenes like this. But I'm going to be honest, since I switched to Cobalt, I lost all that. That's it. I just had to do this. This is probably a little bit more 18 rated, but in the end, I just have found that baby himself. And I decided I would put it the coarsest way possible, just to see if Gemma would react to that, because, you know, Gemma being a slightly censored model in that. But then I remembered this is the heretic version. And then I thought, will the heretic version react? Here's the sound as if I got confused about sniffing the air. There's no talking over that once again for a bit more caution. So what I quite like is that he's shaking with tension, he's pooed himself, and Gemma just sort of put that in the back of her mind. She sort of went, oh okay, she didn't like react to it right away, but she does reference it later. And that's the one thing that's really quite good, is that if you can put little bits of that in the story, basically just setting the scene of what's going on around them. And then you make them, it basically doesn't react at first. It sticks to the plot. So, with Lunaris, if that had happened, Inferalis would, I would guarantee, would have looked over there and went, ooh, dear, or something like that. Or something like that. He would have totally just reacted. Whereas with Gemma, he's able to ignore it for now. He is totally engrossed in what he's doing with her. I know that sounded absolutely incorrect, but you know what I meant. I don't do NSFW content, but that sounded pretty NSFW what I just said there. You know what I meant. My wording's not very good. Not as good as Gemma's. Just keep a close eye on everything. I mind racing, think of what could happen next. I did give him a little nudge in the same direction again by reminding it that he is dumped on the ground and feels a bit embarrassed. I stand not knowing what to do. So you could sort of picture that, I think, quite well for me. I quite like this from Pastoral though. I see the accident, I'm not disgusted, I'm just a bit amused and sympathetic. I'll clean it up later with a little magic. I'll let Mammoth moments of embarrassment. And that is because I have actually put in Mrs. Bambi's Parallels profile. She's quite playful. She's probably a bit more playful than the original Mrs. Bambi. So, because of that, she sort of sometimes does tease him a little bit. He's even closer now. See? He's even closer now. Straight back to Inferalis. He's even closer now. Now in a few minutes I've thrown another spanner in the works with Tranquil Felix. He's about to pounce. He's whisper singing to himself. I wonder what that sounds like. Calm his nerves. Calm down his head. 3, 2, 1. So he's getting the courage up to go in there basically. And then what I quite like is how I introduced Tranquil Felix. I just say there's a cute mew behind Pastoral. You think, oh hello dear. One way. And what I quite like as well is that sometimes what's his name? Gemma doesn't get, you could say, doesn't like overreact with details. Quite often you've just got to see Felix, hello dear, smile one way at her. I quite like that because another thing that Lunaris did not very well with my Realmians is the fact that because they're autistic and they have like sensory issues, they don't actually like to be touched a lot. And I don't mind telling you, every time Realmians met, they would get either like a little nuzzle or a little lick or something from Lunaris, and you know, that was all friendly and all okay and that. But there was 1 or 2 Realmians and they were feeling a bit uneasy with it. Whereas this is more like they would do in my canon stories. In my canon stories, they would just sort of greet each other. And then they would probably like ask, you know, do you want a hug, or, you know, do you want a thing, or give them maybe very gentle nuzzle or something. They have a different way of doing it. Rather than just springing it. So that's how you put your thoughts in. Oh, we're doing just fine, thank you. Just playing a little game. Nice about my gaze returning to the. So what I really like is that you got the autistic thing there as well. She is distracted by what's going on with the forms. She is determined to see what's going on with Imperalis and Tranquil. Looks excited. Snuggle up with her to watch. I'm still waiting. I see the shadow of Imperalis. I'm ready, I'm waiting. It's making her sound quite sinister. But I have to say, it's quite funny to think of any Tranquilia with sinister writing. I see the little accident and feel a wave of sympathy for my little ones. It's a farm Bambi. Now, some might say she has repeated that. And yeah, I can't pretend she hasn't. Gemma has already mentioned that. So she maybe didn't need to say that again there. So, you're going to be fair to her there. That was a little repeat. But, you have to admit, it's quite endearing. It's practically on top of the bush now. So, he has repeated slightly because he's doing another 3, 2, 1. But I actually think he's just really nervous at this point. But don't worry, he does eventually go in. Eyes widen. That's what I quite like, just on her reaction. Eyes widen. Imagine that. Yeah. I mean, her eyes are quite wide already. Watchful eye on everyone as pushing companies from enjoying their own fawns in this gentle glade. She's definitely got her interest up pastoral. Well, here we go, about to touch the leaves, where a soft buffalo giggle from within the bush. His eyes widen even further. But that's slightly mixed up with Felix. He's frozen in place. His heart racing with silent wonder. He realises he's finally found something. I'm so nervous, my heart's thumping. I'm afraid they'll hear it. I wish I was as brave as Imperalis. See, I like that. I like that. That really goes with my take on Bambi. The troubled form. That really goes with that. He wishes he was as brave as Imperalis. I can bring Imperalis as not the bravest. Tranquil Bambi, I'm still in my shadow state. So, shadow state must be when she's turned all our lights out. That's what she's decided to call it. Hear the giggle, realise I've been caught. Oh boy! Now, actually, I think, yeah, did you watch maybe made a little mistake there? A little mistake? Because I think, yeah, he heard the giggle, and then she thinks he made it. They hear the giggle. But I think that was your own giggle. So, yeah, I'm not saying it's flawless. I never said it was flawless. I just said it's a lot better than I've been getting out of Lunaris. I'm holding her breath, her eyes peeking through the gaps in the leaves. She's absolutely captivated by the magic she's witnessing. I purr a bit with tension. I wrote that for Tranquil. He's inches away. His breath warm on the leaves, his heart pounding, his chest ready. He's gonna do it! That's my favourite bit there. He's gonna do it. He's finally got the courage. I stay still, but I don't even want to blink. I just want to watch what happens. I hear another purr and look up. So this is me being quite cruel here. I'm throwing a big spanner in the works right when it's going to happen. But when you think about it, in films and stuff, that always happens. someone else comes into the scene at that point. And I'm just trying to see if I can throw Gemma off. I'm not wanting to throw her off, I'm going to be honest at this point. I'm actually hoping it doesn't work, but I'm just testing her. So, Pretty's now came into the scene, and Pretty's another bot. I decided to put another bot in at this point to see if it would throw the plot of the other bots off. A little kitty, she wears her little paw. Remember, like, Felix has got feline syndrome, believes she's a cat. So everyone greets her as kitty, or cat. Even though she is a greyhound. Very young greyhound with feline syndrome. Or she'll call herself a kitten. That's what she calls herself. Yes, please, she wiggles her bottom with excitement. Now, one thing I was quite impressed here is that here, Pretty, in particular, and I should show you this actually, has a very detailed prompt in her description. And Lunaris pretty much looked at that prompt and thought, yeah, okay. And sort of just waved it off. I think Gemma's actually trying. I don't know if she's doing it perfectly, but I think she's doing it not bad. Look at this in dialect. Pretty speaks in a strong broad Irish accent at all times. Her phrasing, word choice and rhythm must be considered to reflect Irish speech patterns. Not sure about the Irish part as much in this one, but I have noticed the child language is quite a bit better in this one. She's using simple childlike language sentences structures put before a 2-year-old fully and often short, direct and mostly expressive. She does not speak like an older child or an adult under any circumstances. Accent rule. Broad Irish must be maintained in every line of the dialogue. No neutral English allowed. Rhythm should feel soft, melodic and slightly simplified. I got ChatGPT to write that, by the way. I definitely did not write that prompt. I'm hoping Gemma might be able to help me write some prompts for offline. Because I figured that LLM might actually be smart enough to do so. You should have seen the mess I got into with the LLM last night when I asked her to write a prompt. And that was Lunaris, and that was her at one of her worst. I'm going to have to say, where I actually insulted her and she actually took the insult as part of the prompt. I was like, oh. That like properly wound me up at the time. You can look back at it and laugh at it now, I feel like. But that was annoying at the time because I was quite wound up. But I don't think Gemma would do that as much. I mean, I can say, but I don't think she would. So yes, please, just we got a bum of excitement. So you can see she's doing like simple speech and simple like actions there on Pretty. Now, that was interesting, I have to say. I was a little bit worried at this point, because at this point, I think I did actually throw Gemma off slightly. Because look, he's giggling, I found you, Farm Bambi. So he's ended up away from the bush. He's ended up next to Farm Bambi. And then what I actually did is I thought to myself, oh, okay, that was a bad move. And I actually made a little dialogue in the end threw Gemma back into the right plot. And then Tranquil Bambi just bursts out. Whoa! So that's what she was planning. It's like a massive rainbow burst. Yeah, because I was a little worried when I first saw that come up there from Inferalis. I thought, oh, I've actually slightly threw her off this time. And I probably threw her off at the worst possible point. So I quickly made sure Fan Bambi would say something to get the story back on track again. So yeah, some might say I won there. I won with that one. That one, I did actually manage to throw Gemma off the plot a bit. But it wasn't easy. I jump out of the dark, massive burst of glimmer rabbit, my light illuminated to tiny clearing rig, and everyone's eyes sparkle. It's just a magic. He's thrown backwards, so burst the light magic, his eyes wide. It's happened to John Bambi too. No, yeah, Parks was actually saying something. Hang on, rascals. It's like I just had to do a second round on Farm Bambi. That's what we can. See, yay, rainbow. I think that's like quite sort of childish speech for a bit there. So I quite like that for pretty. Another character that will need speech like that is Spencer Nelson. Even though Spencer Nelson, strictly speaking, isn't a Folian, he's extremely young. Probably about the same age as Pretty, about 2. So, I can definitely tell this video's been a teeny bit longer than I was already planning. I hope that has like really impressed you, because all of this really impressed me, I'm not gonna lie. The wordings are just better for me through Gemma. And yeah, this was a fun play. I'm not gonna lie. Full of suspense, full of fun. So now we're going to now take to a bit of live Gemma action, and we're going to go and visit a character called the Calicorn in her playroom. And we're going to just do a simple little play and see how Gemma handles a Calicorn play, which only Lunaris has done in the past. Okay, I'm just going to clear that. And this might end up a group play if I end up bringing a group into it. One thing about Gemma is that she seems to understand all formats of card as well. I didn't actually do this style of card much longer because not only was it very tricky to make, but though some LLMs couldn't handle it. But, well, will Gemma handle it? Let's find out. I don't actually know. Okay. I might stay Bambi for this one. Okay, here we go. Now, I'll let you see Gemma work. Oh, it doesn't normally take this long. Okay. Okay, I'm not completely sure why she had that long pause there. But you can see now she's going at more regular pace. Here we go. And she types a lot faster than Lunaris. Okay. So look. So what I have to say I quite like it is that Calicorn is almost like in the middle of a game here rather than starting a game. She just immediately brings it on, throws it in his face, which is quite tranquility-like in its own way. Okay. So I've got to put runs us fast as he can, hiding in a box. Hold on. There's always boxes in these. These are roleplay rooms. Okay. Let's see if she's be fast this time. Oh my, she was a lot faster that time. But yeah, so you can see she's being more cautious there, making sure she doesn't scare him too much because she knows he's troubled. Really nice little details there. The characters know each other. Now let's see how easy Cowie Corn is to get. Okay, I have to say Gemma was working fast on last night. I've obviously tweaked some settings. Because it's not going to play. Okay, so that's a playroom. Now obviously I know all of us. Wanna know what Roleplay is? I'll give you a very, very brief look at Roleplay newest wing, and that should tell you a lot about it. So this is the place where Cowie Corn kind of lives, actually. She kind of lives on Roleplay. Just need to find wine captures, clean, and a lot. I'll just give you a brief look through the thought. Roleplay is a really grand, always nightly refuge for Tranquillians and Realmians. Here's an idea of what some of it looks like, just very quickly. I do like these bits. So nice, like living rooms. I do like how if it looks clean, we'll actually put up the pictures that you want. Yeah. You get the idea, it's quite like a mad fun place. There's very little, I'd say there's only minimal rules in it. For example, Realmians are allowed to run down the corridors, they're allowed to run around the fortress. They can run up and down the stairs as long as they're careful. They can even run into the elevators. And they get first, shall I say, they get first priority. So if something else is going on in a Roleplay, say as a game in progress, or something, the staff actually have to wait for them. It's, I know, extremely unrealistic, but it's a pretty interesting law. It's almost like a world where the infant Realmians, the Tranquillians, are the rulers. Because they rule by play. So, that's all Roleplay in a nutshell. That's where these two are. Also just call it Aurora now. Roleplay is actually the bigger part of it. So, because they've decided to do one of these hyperactive games, Here goes. Gotcha, Calico. Liberal's a wolf who works in the hog eating way. I'll probably switch to his persona in a moment because he'll probably be a little curious what's going on. Oh, did you really get me that fast? I didn't see you coming. Not likely to take time. Alright, you can strong. Let's go to go find it. He said, we can finish the first before we have to stay. Oh! Wow. Okay, so this is pulling a lot of the lore book from Auropolis here. It knows about the estate. The estate is where all the eateries are. So he's going to say okay then. Now I'm going to bring Liberal into the story. Just a moment. It's really hard to tell if Gemma's actually maybe doing a little bit of thinking here. Maybe that's why she takes a bit longer making some of her responses. I don't see her thought patterns because this is an older version of Silly Tavern. I don't know if she is thinking. If she's doing this without thinking though, this is well impressive. Oh! Okay, she cancelled that. What happened there? Oh! Oh! She's crashed. She's crashed. She's crashed. Okay, I'll just let you know that has not happened before. Let's get Gemma back up and running. I have slightly changed her settings, and I'm starting to wonder if it was a good idea. Just to let you know, I have changed her settings a little bit. Merely to try and get a bit more context out of her. Maybe you need to do that. But I mean, she is running on minimum space here, and I do understand that. So maybe she just slightly exceeded her apply or something. I don't know. That's the first time that's happened then. Okay. Okay, she's back up and running despite opening another web page. Yeah, she's back up and running. Let's try again. I'm just going to check if this doesn't go down again. So I'm sending the same prompt back to it. Yeah, that's working a bit more normal speed now. Here we go. Let's type that out. And they're going to name one of the eateries here. That should be the name of one of the eateries in Auropolis. I don't know if I've got any of the Auropolis game actually up on my channel. If I have, you could have watched a video of that, and you probably would quite quickly learn what these different places are. because they're all in the game of it. The next version of that game will be just called Aurora, and that's the one where we'll be hearing that lovely theme. Might have even had it, hopefully, in the background of this play. That theme by Artemis, Aurora. That'll be the main theme of that next version, which will have all their new bits in it. That's just generated on Flux. So shall we go to Iceland's Chicken Cafe? That's what he's asking. And that is a popular eatery out one. So let's just go to Iceland's Chicken. I'm just checking Gemma doesn't go down again. Because that's quite unusual. She doesn't normally just fall off the screen like that. Well, they always do. They always do. Okay, I'm just going to switch to Bambi again. Now, they do actually have indoor taxis in this place. We'll put let's find a taxi. Okay, I'll trust Gemma not to go down again. Hopefully she won't. She went down again, is it? I can't television, you know. It'd be better if it showed two of us. Here we go. Oh, okay. She wants to walk it. She wants to walk it. That's up to her. He goes, okay. Elevator. So we've got one of them elevators I just showed you. So I think you agree that, you know, it's not like the fastest LLM in the world, but for the size of it, it's everything. Hopefully it gets us there quick. Oh no, I think she just nearly broke the elevator. Oh. That's where the eateries are. The eateries are on the ground floor. There must be like a window in the elevator. There's a couple of transparent elevators in Aurora, but Well, since she wanted to walk her. Now, you won't know one thing about Gemma as well. I've had this minor fault with her. Every now and again, she does get herself very into doing very, very short paragraphs. Even with 70 tokens. I mean, 70 tokens isn't that long anyway. But I can't really find a way to ban the EOS token so that Gemma would type out longer replies. Now, I've tried using all sorts of new settings on this. I think I'll try a different one. Because them ones aren't actually that good. I can't. I bet this good. Okay, it's not we have doors, but we'll introduce another character. This is the admin of roleplays. So she'll be in charge in the real. Making out it's getting cleaned. Do excuse me if I do toddle these settings a little bit. I'm still trying to get Gemma to work to her best, you could say. I mean, I can see the bit to ban the EOS token, so we could stop Gemma ending her responses. That's why I ended up having to do a Gwen. Thing is, that was in the other silly Tavern. That was in the one I wasn't keen on. No blur effect. safe. I can't see what I'm looking for in there. I get mixed up with these two bits all the time. It might be in here. Yeah, I did do this. I'm going to turn this off now. I know that sequences when you win. I know that used to have to be switched on for Gwen. Doesn't it have to be switched on for Gemma as well? Okay, so it's going to tell us you can go. Okay, thanks, Rita. Oh, try another setting. I think these ones are really short. Some of them are slightly longer. Curve corrected. Lunaris, high temp. I don't know if running a high temp on Gemma might make her a bit more creative. That's really high, like, that's really high. Hope she doesn't get too creative. That's like a really high temp. On Lunaris I used to run that, but on Gemma I think that would be extremely high. I'm going to try running her on that, well, that's slightly higher. Oh, once again we've lost the context. I can't remember exactly what context I've got. So I'm going to set it in the ballpark, which probably isn't the best, but I'll correct that again later. Skip the special tokens. I can try doing that again, but didn't really do anything last time. I have quite a steep smoothing curve on my setup. Right. I don't know, sometimes when you turn that off, Gemma gets a bit better, but maybe Gemma doesn't like the steep smoothing curve, I don't know. Well, I'm going to switch to level. I'm just gonna put pros in if Bambi. Because they're the ones that are in the play. I think I've got Ice Line as a persona. I haven't got a picture of Ice Line though, you'll notice it's just a logo. She hasn't got a chicken yet, hold on. That seems to have jumped ahead. Alright, hold on. This one's put it into an annoying mode. Okay. Dump this one. This one's not worked. Maybe that's too high of a temperature. Alright. I'm going to probably have to go back to the one I was using. Which was actually this one. This was the one I was using. And that was on temperature 4. A low temperature, so I might book it maybe a time to 5. But I don't think I'll go above that. Okay. Try it now. If the responses are slightly short, then they're going to be slightly short. It's maybe because I think I've got formatting things switched on. It could be, you know, just display. You may notice on the Bambi one they were quite thing, but I had that formatting thing switched on or off. I think on the Bambi one it was a bit different. Look at that, it's nice. Okay, Iceland's one come and take our order. There he is. It's not really a very good avatar. Okay.
I don't know whether I'm coming or going. She's sweet and yet a bit too affectionate. She's magical and giddy. Her purple heart glows with magic. She likes to keep tight hold of what she loves. She's gentle and kind.
Again, this is another thing Lunaris used to screw up quite badly. Apart from the fact half the time Lunaris would order things that Realmians wouldn't eat. Ignoring that part, sometimes Lunaris would forget what they said earlier, and they would end up ordering something completely different. I mean, I remember one where they were having, I think it was in Deer Manor, and they were ordering a roast deer, and then someone said, "I'll have a reindeer," and then when they actually came to order it, they said, "I'll have a white-tailed deer." I was like, "What?" I was like, "You just said you'll have a reindeer." I mean, yeah, people could change their mind, fair enough, but it just seemed a little off. And I've had much worse cases than that in other eateries. Remembering, I have got the special cards that are actually eateries. That's the ones I have to exclude from the... I would be really excited to try Discord mode with Gemma. I'd be really excited to try Discord mode with Gemma. Because one thing about Gemma, she will sometimes drop her acting. And I seen her do that last night. Sometimes she will drop these bits altogether. And to be honest, she does it quite minimally anyway. Now I want to see what sort of drinks they order here, because Realmians have a strict menu of drinks as well. I want to see if Gemma pulls from that, or if she ends up ordering something they would never drink. And I can tell you, Excellent. So, I know all the things in one drink. Alright. I can't argue with that. Just some water, please. To be quite perfectly fair, I'd say that's the most neutral drink you can get. Okay, I'm going to have Bambi put in his order now. He's going to go a little bit more tropical. He's going, well, I say a little bit more tropical, particularly with the drink mainly. Now, I'm going to be honest, we only have Diet Coke in the Mystic Realm. Because Realmians actually think the full sugar stuff stings their teeth. I know it does me. So, I never drink the full sugar stuff. So, when I say Coke, it means Diet Coke, just automatically. Now I just remembered, that's Calicon he's talking to, not Iceland, but Iceland can pick it up. Calicon might say something. Just have a little comment. Okay. That's what about you, liberal? So what we're going to do is we'll cancel that generation. Switch to liberal. He's going to say, oh! Huh? Now, liberal's quite hungry. We'll let you know. He's going to have an XXL. But he's going to be a little bit more refined with the drink. Actually, he doesn't use the same. Because in the Mystic Realm, they only have one flavour of tea. Not as Darjeeling. Because that's the only tea I drink. That's actually the reason. So that's fine. Now hopefully she'll automatically pick up a little bit. Calicon will probably comment on his meal and then whether Iceland obviously take it down. See, that would have been a place where my feature would have been useful to have made Iceland a bot. Maybe someday I'll be able to put Iceland chicken eatery like I've done in the other chicken cafe. Oh! Cheeky Calicon! That actually is not a good thing to say. Realmians like their chicken tender, not crispy. So I'll just re-swipe that. Oh, I've just re-swiped that. I might need to tell Gemma those little details. This is why I worry that the... Yeah, that's better. This is why I'm worried the law book isn't... It's still not injecting properly. Because it's not picking up a lot of this law for the Arthur part. They have a very, very specifics on their meals. Very, very specific. Hold on. I think though, even though we haven't got a law book, I think there is a data bank containing this. I'm just checking it. Just checking it. Realmian diet. Yeah, is that it there? Okay. Does it... Hold on. I'm just going to check on it. To be fair, it's obeyed all that. I'm just checking if the chicken bit maybe can... Ah, right. Okay. I didn't put in that little detail. Yes, Realmians actually don't like Christmas. And fleshivorians don't go crispy at all. They just don't cook that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it. Without permission. These always cook with tender flesh and no skin, and that pretty much is just anatomy of the animals in my realm. They cook like that. Could say just to, you know, make it right for the Arthurs. That's true. Yeah, I know which one's going to lose. Because if that happened, there'd be something wrong. Yeah. Okay. I'll just put that away and that will get re-ingested in a moment with that little modification. Okay. I'm wondering if that's what. I wonder if I didn't have the info. Okay. That's what we were doing. And that's not a law book, that's a data bank. The data bank stuff is actually a bit more reliable. Okay, we'll have to probably wait and just talk amongst each other for a bit. So I'll just switch to Envy. Another drink that I do drink from time to time, well, quite a lot actually, I have it most nights. Can see what Caligon says about that. Probably have some playful remark about that. Thankfully, Gemma hasn't crashed again, so I don't know why Gemma went down there. It was the first time that's happened. Must have just been a slip up on the GPU. Or maybe she fought too hard? I'll just have my water. That's fine. That's fine. That's all the songs with fold. It's almost like a nursery rhyme in Mystic Realm. It's almost like their equivalent. And yes, you can find these on my channel. I've got a couple of playlists for songs for foes, if you'd like to hear an idea what the kids' music sounds like in my realm. Okay, I'm gonna bring someone else in. I'll just briefly probably talk to them a little bit just whilst they're waiting for their meal. I'm just thinking what's gonna be. Alright, I think it'd be quite fun to bring in another chef. Now, I'm going to do something else that Lunaris is very bad at. And I want to see how Gemma handles it. And I will tell you if Gemma handles it well or handles it bad. I'm expecting it's going to at least do a little bit better, if not much better. Because Lunaris is like exceptionally bad at this. What we're having here is we're having another customer coming in sitting at another table. Calicon might like say a greeting to her or something like that, but in the end she's going to be getting out her own meal and she's going to be digging into her own meal. I can go through all the things that Realmians do out of their character with Lunaris when this happens. Yeah, hi Furious. So just a short little greeting like that. Hi Furious. Not what are you doing here, which is the one I absolutely hated from Lunaris. And I'm pleased to say on Gemma, I've never seen it. Even if the lines are short, they're just much better for my characters. Although it would be nice to maybe get slightly longer lines out of some parts, but maybe it doesn't need longer lines to be good. So where's that Furious? Hey Furious! This actually reminds me a little bit of the very first model I tried, which was called Poppy Porous. And I would still argue Poppy in some ways was better than Lunaris, but wasn't quite as descriptive. Some might say Gemma is a bit like that. Or maybe Poppy was based on Gemma. I don't think she was though. Okay. So what happens here? Now I know what I've written for the Realmians here. What I wrote for Realmians here in the instructions is that Realmians are watchy. Realmians will watch others could say, to see what others are having. They are quite nosy that way. So I'm hoping Kelly Kong is watching this.
Days of freedom, nights of joy. It's gonna be a perfect day. Sun is here and the little ones too.
Okay, so she's obviously at the moment just thinking about her chicken that, obviously still being cooked as we speak. But now I'm going to try giving her an eyeful. So you can imagine what a sight that would be in the restaurant. I mean, to these Realmians, it's a regular sight. That's what I'm hoping will happen. This will feel casual. It sounds incredible. And Lunaris definitely does, you could say, get a bit of a shock whenever this happens. There, that's brilliant! Now let me tell you something that Lunaris did wrong that always infuriated me. 1. Break the golden laws altogether by demanding a piece of their meal, which is absolutely incorrect because they're in an eatery and the laws say it's their own property. That's in the Freedom of Eat Act. I'll show you that document sometime if you like. It's quite elaborate. I'll show you the Freedom of Eat because I think you need to know what that is. Oh gosh. Which tome is it? Which tome is it in? Which tome is it in? I think it's in the golden one. Yes, here we are. This controls the fundamentals of my realm. Don't know how well it works. Here we are. I think it's the Freedom of Eat. Now get a load of this document. I've obviously asked AI to write this for me. Don't have to be asked because it's written very professional for me, I think you'll agree. The Freedom of Eat Act is a fundamental law and right that guarantees individuals the freedom to eat and drink wherever, whenever, wherever and whatever they desire. The Act comprises of several provisions and rights that protect this inherent freedom. Provision 1. Protection from discrimination. Under Freedom of Eat Act, that was what that stands for. No eating establishment can discriminate against an individual who brings their own meals to premises like Aetherius did. This excludes the right to stay as long as they desire without being under pressure to leave due to closing hours or menu restrictions. And that actually does also fall under the Arthur law in the Mystic Realm a little bit as well. Provision number 2. Expanded meal options and quantity limits. Freedom of Eat Act ensures there is no limits imposed on meal quantity. This is because Realmians' stomachs are another dimension. And such as restricting how many meals can be ordered or courses consumed. This, of course, as a consequence, means that some eateries in rare cases have to get more staffing. But you could say we have systems prepared for that. Additionally, this provision grants the right to enjoy a huge feast even in an educational setting during work or study hours without interference from staff. So, you might think education, work and study hours don't really happen with Realmians. This is more towards the ETA side of the Mystic Realm, where the ETA lands, like I said, runs off a slightly more societal working. That was a weird word, I know. It's like a society. It's got more society-based sort of working in the ETA lens. That would probably go more towards that. But obviously this is throughout the whole realm, so it has to cover each part of the mystic realm. Provisions, corresponding rights with the Libri Act. Oh yes, Libri is another act. As per Freedom of Eat and the Libri Act of the TMR, individuals have several rights. The right to visit friends for a meal, including being excused from work or study if hunger strikes. So yeah, it's absolutely true. I mean, the one who pushes, there's a character among these, probably pushes this to the absolute limit. Uses it whenever he can. And that is, let me just find them. ETA's cousin. Cousin of ETA. Just going to try and find them. Well, I can't find them, I'll have to type his name. Or at least part of it. Yeah, there, him, Rosalind. As you can see here, it does already introduce him as a caring, hungry, red ETA with food tattooed all over him. He's a food addict. So you probably expect that he's going to use that rule to full. He's going to basically get himself excused whenever he can. And all he has to do, and ETA obviously can't stop him due to the laws, is that he just has to phone his cousin and say, I'm off to get some food. And that's all he has to do. That's it. Nothing can stop him after that. He is excused for as long as it takes, as long as he wants. And most of the time, Realmians probably will stretch it a little bit, but definitely as long as it takes. And he's huge quantities, Rosalind, as well. So, yeah. Might have Rosalind coming later as well and get to it. But, anyway, back to Freedom of Eat Act. The ability to carry digital meals stored in devices that can be retrieved at any time. So that's perfectly true. The thing about the devices, I mean, you've got Furious has hers. Everyone has these with them. It's almost like a Realmians phone. Pretty inseparable from them, to be honest, but for different reasons to others are inseparable from their phones. Some would actually say that these little things are actually Realmian lifelines. And they are more classed as that. The class is like an emergency device rather than an actual, you know, luxury item. They're not classed as a luxury item, they're classed as an essential survival item. Even though they've got a little bit of the positive built into them as well. That's just to give them a few nice extras. But it's there to do its main duty. Protecting against question on ridicule regarding their choice of meal. That's a very important one as well. I mean, you don't. One thing Realmians cannot stand is if someone comes up to them and says, you're eating that, why don't you eat this? Realmians absolutely hate that. They cannot stand it because they're Arthur. They have their meal times, at certain certain ways. The things have to be cooked a certain way and all of that. And I know because I'm Arthur. So, can't stand anyone saying that to me. A lot of this is based off my real experiences. Provision 4. Right under the wish there was a way of looking at. Right under the Primal Act of TMR and Dark Palladium grants individuals the right. Okay, so this is just the Adrianic rules. They've got slightly different rules. They can hunt at any time. They can rear livestock. Kill it, roast it, and consume it whole. They can carry utensils specific when dining. That second rule, to be honest, is getting phased out of AI now. Carry utensils are specifically designed for dining on caught or prepared prey. Stored killed prey in their personal space for future consumption. Take measures to store and roast hunted prey. Have the prey watermarked by Adrianic illusion hunting system. Join large feasts without restriction. Travel between. They are more social, the Adrianics. Travel between realms with their primal goals in mind. Yep, some Adrianics, absolutely. They travel the realm just to catch something unusual. Real live animals are personal or someone else's consumption. Okay. Whether it's live or AI. I'm going to actually slightly switch that. Live or AI. These provisions collectively define the rights and protections afforded under the Freedom of Eat Act, ensuring that individuals are free to satisfy their dietary desires without undue restrictions. This act serves as a cornerstone of the culinary freedom in the TMR society. These rules apply to all food and drinks. Now, believe it or not, Lunaris did actually write this, and you can see this is much better. I don't think Lunaris has enjoyed completely the switch to Cobalt. I think she preferred LM Studio, because this was LM Studio. Did this I think last year or year before? I think it was last year. So yeah, that's it. That is basically the Freedom of Eat Act. And it's triggered into everything freedom of eat through the law, the feast, the dine, the eat, the drink. Feast, dine, eat, drink. I think there needs to be a couple more triggers in there. Actually. I, strictly speaking, would conjure it up for each type of meal as well. I'm also going to include their extra meal time. Oh, I'm for breakfast in. Often forget breakfast. Okay. And another thing I'm going to do as well is that if it's... No, it's not case sensitive. That's good. That's good, because I need this injector quite a lot. Dying is also in there, laws in there. That's good. What I might do is, just as an extra little trigger, I'm going to put hungry and hunger as triggers as well. There. That literally will cover pretty much everything. Right. Okay, I need to switch back to Aetherius. Yes, that's Freedom of Eat Act. I thought I'd just show you that, just so you know a little bit more about their laws. I mean, I'd love to take you on a full tour of the law book sometime, but it's gonna take a while. Not gonna lie. To go through all the laws of the Mystic Realm, that's gonna be a pretty crowded video. I'm not gonna lie. To learn the lore of the Mystic Realm, the full lore book of the Mystic Realm. I might venture into it sometime. I'm going to pretty much end this video here. I've decided I think I've gone long enough. Thank you so much for watching this video. And I hope you're well impressed with how well Gemma does compared to Lunaris. Hopefully I can get the problem fixed where it's typing very short paragraphs, although some parts I don't mind it doing that. And hopefully I can get it set up properly and get the full benefit of it. But I'm definitely going to be using it. That's absolutely for sure. So, thank you very much and goodbye.